Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for tuning in to WGIV. This is Mondez Thomas with Peace Advisors, and we're here on the Peace and Possibilities podcast. Today, we actually wanted to talk about multi-generational, multi-relational legacies. How do you actually build a legacy when you have multiple relationships? Either divorces, step-parents, co-parenting, all kinds of things that we're dealing with today. How do you actually establish your legacy, and how is your legacy affected through these multi-relationships? So here at Peace Advisors, we help people with health insurance, life insurance, and retirement planning. If you have any questions about what we do or need help with Medicare, health insurance, or any estate planning needs or life insurance needs, feel free to visit us online at www.peaceadvisor.com. and just contact us there, and we'll set up an appointment with one of our advisors. Today, we actually have in studio with myself, Ms. Sandra Basunu.
Hey, y'all.
Sandra's one of our top advisors here, and we also have one of our newer advisors, Mr. Jay Kimball.
Hey, what's going on? How are you?
Welcome. So we are all in different generations and different timelines in our life, and we wanted to bring you this conversation because as we see it, people have to plan. And when you have a plan, you will prosper. Where there is no plan, there's poverty, right? So every time we see this, we want to make sure you know what's available to you and what could happen. Because just because today the sun is out and the flowers are blooming doesn't mean the storms aren't going to come tomorrow. Doesn't mean, your relationship's going to make it. Whatever may happen, someone may pass away prematurely. There may be situations where people have affairs and kids and outside relationships. People may be bringing kids into the relationship. So again, how do we plan our legacy with that? So, Sandra, first I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
So you have a beautiful daughter.
Yes, she's 5.
She's 5. Yep. We love her. She's adorable. And we want to see, what have you done to plan your legacy? Are you currently married?
No.
No? Okay. So, planning to, of course, maybe.
Yeah. Keep hope alive.
But, great guy. So, what are you all doing to plan for your legacy?
Insurance.
Insurance? How so?
IULs, and just having one on each of us and our child, just to make sure, the money is there for retirement, college, if something happens to either one of us. And we'll be working on a trust soon as well, and having all that together and out the way.
So now, one of the things you brought up is a trust. So with a trust, one of the benefits is that you control who's in the trust, what happens with the trust, whether y'all are there or not. So you have a person who's the executor of the trust, which is either one of yourselves or a third party. That's important to understand. A lot of people don't really understand how trust work. But, going into having multiple relationships, if for whatever reason you and your daughter's father didn't get along and y'all started other relationships, a trust between you and him for your daughter actually is the best option.
Right. I agree.
It actually, we talk about this. This is why we're advisors. But we want to make sure you guys take all the guesswork out and the foolishness, the emotion, all the drama. He said, she said. I don't like what you did to me. All that, we have to take that out of the equation to make sure that, most importantly, the child is provided for. And, you're talking about different products, the IULs, life insurance products. We offer all of those. So if you're interested, again, visit us online at peaceadvisor.com. You can set an appointment with Sandra. She's actually our family specialist. She will walk you through all the baby daddy and baby mama drama. Insure that boy if he in the streets, whatever. So throw a policy on him.
A policy on your kids' fathers.
Always.
And mothers.
Because you never know out here. It's crazy out here. But again, the reason why we say that is because kids matter. And we have to make sure the kids are always protected. Good fathers understand that. Great mothers also, most mothers understand that. Great mothers make sure it happens. All right, but good fathers understand that there's usually never a conflict of interest, but you have to talk about it.
Yeah.
So when y'all talked about having a legacy for her, You use the insurance. Now, let's say y'all continue living, no one passes away. Because life insurance only pays off if you die, right? She's 20 now. She's 5 today. She's 20 in the future. How does your legacy change at that point?
I guess maybe the need or the amount of insurance or what we want to leave behind will change a little bit, just because she'll be a little bit older. But at the same time, it might not change so much, just because specifically at IUL, I have it set up to where it's focused most on growth of the cash value, so that we can use that whether she needs it for school, college, marriage, or if,
you gonna let her get married at 20?
No, I'm saying like in the future. Like, yeah, she'll be 20, but like, we'll have a chunk of cash value from the IUL to use if she needs it for anything.
Now, one thing that we learned is that money gives you options. Money gives you a lot of options. And using that specific type of product, what you're doing is you're borrowing money, hopefully at a low rate. Right now, the rates are not low, so you should not be borrowing money from your products. But hopefully borrowing at a low rate, and then it's paying interest at a higher rate. So even as you're borrowing money, hopefully your product is paying itself off. So, we use this in the infinite banking concept with people. But what happens is the money that you put in continues to grow, and then you can spend a little bit of that money while your money's still growing for you. So you're making 7% interest, hopefully, hypothetically, and you're paying 3%. So your net is 4%. So great. You're making money while you're borrowing money. So, and your insurance is still there. So if anything happens, God forbid, everybody's still covered.
And hopefully by then, 2021, she'll be, I guess, a little mature and can decide kind of what she wants to do with her policies or what she,
Now, we've seen some grandparents that actually give the policies to the kids until they're passed away. So the kids don't even know about the policies until they're like 30, 40, 50 years old. And like, wait a minute, where'd this come from? So, if
I try to have different options. I'm working on that now, as far as having different options to where it's like cash left behind or other things instead of just one vessel. I'm trying to have different options set up in the trust, like option A, B, C, for different situations instead of leaving her just cash. Because I had a client one time, I was talking to him about his insurance, and he said he didn't want to leave his kids anything. He doesn't want to leave them money. He has his businesses that he can pass on to them, but at the same time, they might not want to run your business. They might have a different, desire or path in life. So.
And that's where the trust comes into effect.
Right.
That's when the trust comes into effect, because not everybody wants to do what you did.
Exactly.
You might have been the greatest sanitation engineer this city ever seen, but at the end of the day, Dad, I don't want that job. I don't want that business. I don't want...
Yeah.
Why not? It's all you got to do is sit here and collect the check. I don't want it. I want to go travel the world and eat pasta and, hang out with Da Vinci and dive off of cliffs, Who raised you? You messing up your legacy.
Yeah.
And that's why we're having this conversation today, because what does your legacy look like? Who are your kids? What are you leaving behind? And how do you plan ahead for that? Because so many things happen. Now, we're going to switch over to Jay. Jay, you actually have a very interesting household. So go ahead and describe your household situation now.
All right, so I have my mom, and she's married, and I have my stepdad, right? I'm living with them. And then I have my dad, and he's married, so I have a stepmom. They're living together. And I have 2 younger siblings by them, and I have older siblings by my stepdad and my mom.
So as you can see, that's a big Brady Bunch whole situation going on, and it's great because they all seem to get along. So that's important. So we're all here for peace.
Yeah, it was a little different conversation when I was younger, but yeah.
They're good now. They're growing.
Oh yeah,
they're better.
Good. Yeah, everything's good.
So that's what we want to hear. But in doing that, what we want to look at is how has any of your parents, step parents or regular parents, had a conversation with you about inheritance or legacy or anything like that?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
See, and this is what we want to bring to the table, because the conversation is simple. I mean, you can say, I'm not leaving you nothing.
Right.
At least I know.
At least I know. Right. That part.
And when it's divided among so many different people, what we see is you have a conflict that's brewing.
Right.
Whether you get along with your siblings or not, we have one sibling that could be emotional. And when someone passes, I love them more than you did, and I deserve more. I took care of them more. And we had that conversation last week.
I've witnessed that with other family.
You've seen that?
Yes.
Yeah. And, with our clients, we see that all the time. And it's a problem because we want to make sure that whenever someone passes or something happens or there's a tragedy, there's a plan in place. And there has to be a plan, because if there's no plan, we don't know what's going to happen. And that's when lawsuits get involved. That's when you have to pay for lawyers. That's when people get sued. And money goes out of the estate and out of the family to every third party that wants to scrap and make their business off of it.
Right.
And that's not fun. So theoretically, you're relatively still new to our business. So this is going to be fun. And he was not prepped or primed for this question whatsoever. So this is pure freestyle right here. This is how we roll. So what would you like to see between you and your siblings from your parents if you could design something?
Financially, right? As far as leaving a legacy?
Yes. Financial legacy.
I would like to see them more vested, if that makes sense. Because I've talked to my dad, mom, stepdad, and stepmom all about the IULs that Sandra and you were just currently talking about, and helping build that. And my stepdad is taking heed to it, actually, because he just got my nephews set up with that after I've actually talked with him about it, you know. So they're learning something, but I just want to see them progress for us, especially with the younger siblings, and I'm trying to even talk to them and teach them a little bit of something, but I would love to see it from the parents, because it's just another perspective. You get what I'm saying?
And one thing, we have to give a spoon of grace, a little leeway to the parents, because it's tough out here.
It is. It's a different time, different generation. So a lot of what we have access to now, they didn't. You know? So.
And fun fact, we were doing some research, and this is going to be part of one of my seminars going forward. So you'll hear me talk about this often. But when slavery ended, life insurance has been around for a long time. But when slavery ended in the 1800s, life insurance was first then offered to slaves.
Wow.
The problem is that if you were African American, the benefit was only 1/3 of that your white counterparts could receive. So you could pay for it, but you'd only get at the most 1/3 of what was your perceived value, because your life was worth less. And that's what the companies are doing. They did this all the way up until 1964. So if you're over the age of 60, you grew up in an era where you weren't even valued as much as your white counterpart.
Wow.
Like, that's real talk.
That part. Yeah, that's sad.
The Civil Rights Act in 1964 allowed insurance, it forced insurance companies to respect us and treat us equally. Finally. So this is brand new. So you may have us older grandparent that used to hear about the insurance man going door to door collecting little penny policies, fill out his little weekly register. And then when she passed away, she got $100, she got $500, she put it towards her burial, which couldn't even pay for nothing nowadays. But that's what she had, because that's all that was offered to them back then. All right. These concepts and products and opportunities are new.
Right.
All right.
And that's why I consistently talk to them and try to get them on game,
Yeah, and it's not like it's something that, we're not trying to beat your door down. We're not trying to take money out of your household.
No.
We want to build your family.
I want to set you up. Yeah.
There's no easy situation. There's no easy answer. You can pay $20.
Yeah.
We can find something for you for $20. If
I
that's what it
always
takes.
tell people not to cut you off. Like, something is better than nothing.
Agreed.
Something is better than nothing. You might not be able to afford or get as much as you want in insurance or whatever, but something is better than zero. And like you asked, Jay, now that I think about it, my parents never really spoke to me about their legacy or anything. Everything I experienced, like with my dad passing, I just winged it. And, used my expertise from being in the business, but he didn't really talk to us about it, let alone have anything in place. We kind of just...
And again, based on like what I just said, with 1964 law passing, they didn't even know. So you're talking about 1964, the law passes. Racism still existed. Okay, let's not pretend like overnight that 1964 happened and it was all kumbaya and we were all at Woodstock hanging out. No, they were still shooting cane. They were still doing all kinds of stuff. They were protesting the Olympics. That was a tumultuous time that we don't actually appreciate in our generation enough, unfortunately. But those who lived it understand. But the affirmative action, these things, all these opportunities that were created for us as a people actually allowed us in the 80s to start gaining wealth, getting in opportunities to work the same jobs and receive the same pay, be seen the same. And that's why you see the rise of cities like DC, Chocolate City. You see the rise of Atlanta. You see major cities, major metropolitan areas with a huge surging African-American population of income. And now you're seeing it in Charlotte for the first time. I mean, these kids are coming out of college making six figures, demanding six figures. They want to get six figures, work from home, play with their dog, and get, sick mental health days. What is that? I'm happy for them. I mean, I can't work the 9 to 5. I'm not built for it because I will literally break everybody. I can't do it personally. That's just me. Cheers to all of you who can. But y'all got mental health days? What is that? If I was having a bad day, I had to sit in the corner and just drink my coffee and eat my little cinnamon roll. Yeah. That was it. Otherwise I wasn't getting paid. And I'm not going to mess up my rent because my mental health is off. Right. But y'all, there's a privilege that's being offered to people and they earned it. And employers are recognizing it, and God bless the employers for dealing with it and learning how to keep their employees happy. Yeah. So it's a fine line, and I'm not here to be critical of anybody or anything, but times are changing and the opportunities for us to grow are immense. The information is out here. So if you have questions, again, feel free to go online, visit us, peaceadvisor.com. You can schedule an appointment with us. We'll go over your options with you because, the money is hard to make in the first place. Yeah. But now that you got it, what are you going to do with it? Yeah. What does your legacy look like? So going back to the multi-relational family, Jay and I don't have kids, right? We both hope to make kids in the future. Yeah. I think we'll make amazing dads. We'll have a lot of fun. Agreed. We got a bunch of brothers they're going to hang out with and cut up. Right. It's going to be great. It's going to be a bunch of boys. It's going to be hilarious. And we have girls. They're going to be protected because we're going to bust anybody's head that tries to mess with them.
Plain and simple. And we got brothers to do it.
That's right. We're going to roll up on them. It's not a question. So, but in saying that, the dating pool. Let's talk about it. How do you evaluate someone that you're looking to date in regards to your financial legacy? Does it come into consideration? Because women do it all the time. So let's get the woman's perspective, Sandra.
We might need another segment.
Ready to
We need an hour.
How do you look at a man as far as your legacy and what you're bringing to the table as far as a relationship and in children and family?
I guess you can say one thing is like the background, their background. Mm-hmm. Where do they come from as far as what type of family, values, morals, or whatever they believe in? That has a lot, I think, to do with the person.
A cultural legacy.
Yeah, cultural, or just their family dynamics, their heritage, what type of family they come from. Are they good people? Are responsible?
We need a show called Good People, or a book called Good People, because there's a lot of good people that don't get recognized, and that's a true story, and people don't know what good is.
I would say also like what type of mindset. You really have to know a person's mindset, and also, of course, their career. How do you make money? How much money do you make? And
see, she said it. We didn't have to say it. She said
it. And vice versa. Like I'm sure a man wouldn't want. I can't speak for y'all. I'll let y'all handle that. Like how you decide, but
it's a debate because it goes on Facebook all the time. It goes on all the social media. Who should be 50-50?
Right. I'm traditional.
Should the man make all the money and the woman hang back and do the house? And listen, I don't think ladies, there's an answer.
The 50-50 thing, I feel like just find what works for you. If you're 50-50, find somebody that's 50-50, you know? So,
Yeah.
but
It's tough though, because there's some situations where women make more money than men because of education, because of opportunity, because of hustle, because of networking, whatever. So in some cases, the man may need to be the one that stays at home. And, you know, some men don't want to hear that. But maybe, buddy, you might be better off staying at home, getting rid of that daycare bill, and encouraging your woman to work and making sure she has everything she needs. And then, you know, volunteering and networking for your family's behalf in the local community and building your community. And I don't think we've ever seen in any society that I know of personally where, you know, it's either a patriarchal society or a matriarchal society where the men run the show or the women run the show. I've never seen it where it's both. And, you know, in the Baha'i faith, they teach that men and women are equal like two wings of a bird. And for the bird to fly, both wings have to be equal strength. So, you know, for you to go higher in life, for society as a whole to rise, both men and women have to be lifted up equally. And
you have to work together.
You have to work together. And, I think we put a lot of emphasis on money, and we're talking about legacy, but the things that you talked about right there were cultural, heritage, you know, not bringing drama.
Yeah, it really does have a lot to do. I think that's an important part. Like the other part, your significant other's background and what type of family they come from and the type of people they are, you know, that really.
Because for me, because I've been married before, and divorced. And one of the things I look for personally is that family connection. How do you deal with your family? Can you get along with your family?
Yeah.
Because if you can't get along with your family, how in the world are you going to get along with me?
Right.
You know, that's number one. Like, if you can't get along with your mama, ooh, like, she's the one who brought you. Like, you got to at least start there, you know. But it is what it is. So that's like my litmus test. You know, how do you get along with your family? If you have kids, do you actually like your kids? Because I know parents that, you know, they say they love their kids, but then they treat them like they're not there.
Right.
Or, you know, I show up and all of a sudden your kid disappears. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, where home you go? You know?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's important to, like we were talking about, picking wisely, because that affects or that influences, I'm trying to say, like, the type of parent you are in your life. You know what I mean?
Because when you come back to legacy, one of us may pass away prematurely. So how are you going to carry on what I value in our child?
Yeah.
How do you carry on what I value, my family values are in our child? 'Cause
Right.
I don't know if I have a year to instill my values in that child. I don't know if I have 50 years to instill my values in that child.
Yeah.
But either way, my legacy has a right in its own self to be passed on.
Right.
What does that look like? And, you know, we have the insurance, we have the money. You can give a kid money, but he's going to spend it.
Yeah.
You know, and I think we always forget that cultural heritage, time,
Yes.
spending time with your kids. And, so going back to dating, you know, I look at a person, how much time do they spend doing the tasks that they have at hand?
Yeah.
You know, you could be a hustler. Are you hustling so much that you don't take care of yourself? You don't take care of your responsibilities. You don't take care of
Have
your
time
kids.
for your family.
You don't have time for your family. You're hustling backwards at that point. You know, you could be the jack of all trades and master of none. Congratulations, you played yourself.
Yeah.
You know, every new business you start is technically another job. So what, you need 5 jobs to survive?
Right.
So you're broke, you know.
And that goes back to, like, your background, like I was saying, because a lot of times that can be a trauma response, like hustle, because of you might not having a lot growing up, and you feel like I have to hustle for my family, for my kids to have this. When your kid just wants you to take him or her to the park, or, you know, this is all of that kind of.
You know, one of our first things we talked about, you just really brought me back, having your kids around and engaging in the family. Back in the 1900s, early 1900s, you had kids in the house, in the farm. You know, you had kids out there raising the food, and they were engaged in it. And it's like, if you mess up the food, you're not going to eat. So they took pride in it. You know, they knew what they had to do, but it kept them busy, it kept them engaged in the housework, and everybody kind of had a little task to do. And, you know, the person I'm with now, she always gives her kids tasks to do, and I love to see it.
Yeah.
And they do such good work. Like, I'm impressed. Like, go ahead.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I was a hard-headed kid. I didn't want to do anything my mom said. I have no idea why, but I was just difficult for no reason.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
that was just who I was. But learning how to manage, you know, children,
household,
yeah,
and your sanity.
it's a beautiful thing to watch. And it's like, you know, I cheer the great moms and great dads on that have that balance in their house, that raising their kids to be respectful adults and responsible adults. And it's just like, we want to make sure that you're taking the time in your life, because, you know, we talk about legacy and what's important to what you leave behind.
Yeah.
You know, make sure your kids actually know who you are.
Right. It's a great point. Like, we talk about legacy and we automatically think leaving money behind, insurance, but it's more than just money. It's just the type of person you are. What will your kids remember about you? Like, for example, my dad, he passed away in 2020, and I have all my good memories of him being there and being gentle. But my mom, she's still living and she's still working. And that's all I remember her. Work. That's all you know.
That's what she's
and
gotta
she's
do what she
working
gotta
so
do.
hard for her family and that leaves stuff to the grandkids. She has 7 grandkids, but where is the time?
It's hard to balance. But that's why, you know, today we're not here criticizing anybody or anything. We want to make sure you're just cognizant of what you're doing, what your efforts are
real
as
life.
you try to make your family, make your household, make your community stronger, because we're about building stronger communities here. So we focus on ensuring, investing, and impacting our communities here at Peace Advisors. It's the biggest thing we do. You know, whatever we do, we want to make sure we leave an impact that's positive in nature. When we do our insurance, it's got to be positive for you and your family. When we invest, we have to make positive investments in everything we do. And when you invest your time, when you invest yourself, that's the best investment. You know, don't overwork yourself. Don't overstress yourself. Live your life however you see it needs to be lived. Contact us if you have questions about life insurance, investments, health insurance, any of that stuff. You know, don't be running around here without health insurance right now. With the monkeypox, you know, avoid the gorilla. You know, it's just not worth it. You know, people are more scared of monkeypox than COVID. I will never understand.
Yeah.
Monkeypox won't kill you, but COVID will.
I know a lot of people that was like, I'm getting the monkeypox vaccine and everything as soon as it come out, but don't have the COVID.
Yeah, so you know we're not gonna judge, but just protect yourselves out there. If you have questions for us, feel free to reach out to us at peaceadvisor.com. We're here to answer questions. We're here to have conversations with you. We want to help you and your family build your legacy in the way you want to see it fit. And like I said, once again, www.peaceadvisor.com. We're here for you. Thank you again for tuning in to WGIV and the Peace Advisors Peace and Possibilities podcast.